Good afternoon, Jay-Ann. How you doing? You well?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm good, and you?
I'm blessed, always, right? We're here to talk about a few things today, namely a capsule collection brought forth by Champion, which I know you're involved in. A bit about you as well, though. You know, you're a gaming aficionado. You're emerging as one of the voices that are emanating from the space that have got their finger on the pulse. So let's jump into it. Tell me about yourself.
Yeah.
Black Girl Gamers, and what inspired you to start Black Girl Gamer?
So Black Girl Gamers is a community-powered organization that I started in 2015. Initially, I started it because I felt isolated, ostracized, and invisible in gaming in general. And a lot of other Black women felt the same way about it as well as I did. So in order to create a community, I created a Facebook group, which over time and by word of mouth and social media grew to our current number of over 8,000 members globally. And during that course of this growth, I've always said that I wanted Black Girl Gamers to be not just a safe space, but a progressive one as well. So in order to create the environment where we don't necessarily need a space, but can have one, but don't necessarily need to hide away from the industry, we started working in different areas. So events, mentorship programs and workshops for our community, content creation, talent brokering, and consulting. And so we've been doing that, bit by bit as we've grown, and it's emerged into this organization that's having large impact in the space and providing Black women with equity and opportunities in the space and learning where they wouldn't have had it or even known about it before. I'm going to big up my chest. We've had a huge impact in the space on allowing Black women, not even if they're not in the community, to understand their worth and understand how to build and to be entrepreneurial in the space. It's been a lot of Black creators turned creatorpreneurs, that's my little phrase, that have impacted the space and made the larger AAA organizations stop and pay attention to what's been happening in terms of the ostracization of the Black community, the racism that goes on in gaming, and also the kind of hyper focus on white men as the core consumer, but also core talent that these agencies or companies will focus on. So we've been doing it for a while. Gaming's always been a joy of mine. It's my escapism. It's just kind of like movies, any story can be created and you can play through that world. So it's not as underground or as looked down upon as before, which is kind of great because I think the pandemic opened a lot of people's minds to it. But yeah, that's just a brief synopsis about Black Girl Gamers, really and truly.
I love your passion, man. I love you. I love you. I love the passion. I love that you said, let me big up my chest. I love all of that.
Yeah, man, I'm not going to sit here and lie.
I mean, no, man, talk your, talk it. I love that you've managed to get big companies to set up and take note. Talk about future aspirations in this space specifically in terms of boosting representation or enabling legacy organizations, companies to connect better in order to increase that representation.
So in 2020, we had our first Black Girl Gamers Online Summit, which was sponsored by Twitch, which is one of the largest gaming live streaming platforms. And in this, we kind of addressed a number of issues. It was mostly Black women on the panels. And we, talked about different experiences, being a content creator, being a voice actor, being a founder, being the chief diversity officer of a major AAA publisher. And so we're kind of by this event, we closed the gap between industry and consumer and talent in that space. And, people got jobs off of it, created relationships out of it, even just grew to have more confidence about what the industry is, and also understand a bit more that you can join the industry outside of being a coder or developer. Just like any other industry, there are people who work in HR, finance, business, product marketing, etc. You can also work in these areas, and that would still be a great area for Black people to work in, because we need Black people everywhere in terms of different disciplines. We don't just need them in coding and development and art, we need them everywhere. So that's one area. In terms of a BGG talent, it was our internal talent agency. We've been brokering Black women since late 2020. I think we've gotten over the 50 grand. I think it's over 50 grand pounds. I think so, yeah, mark at the moment into Black women's pockets, with a lot more to come, just waiting for the contracts to land. But that's providing Black women with opportunities that they've never seen before. And others have seen us do it and then want to create their own kind of agencies and organizations that will pay Black women as well. So we kind of kicked off that focus on using Black women as talent as well. In terms of other areas where we can gain equity is similar to the consulting. So getting women from our community to be consultants on AAA games, and for AAA studios to impact how characters look, what their backstory is. And then the last one is like mentorship and workshops. We offer our community free mentorship and workshops by just finding individuals of interest or expertise in the industry to come and do a workshop for the community, so that they can, one, have a soft launch into a potential area of interest, two, gain the skills that they would need to, and then three, gain the confidence to go out and continue that work individually and autonomously. So we touch on coding, we touch on being an artist for games, voice actor for games, presenting. We want to kind of tackle the industry and the gaps as much as we can. So that's how we create equity in the space, because it's not just about representation. I think a lot of people get caught up in representation. Representation isn't good if the people who are supposed to be representing the community aren't for the community. So it's really important for us to create equity in that space with people who understand that the Black community still needs help to get there. Just because you're there doesn't mean the situation's solved. So yeah, that's what we work on at the moment. And in terms of even content creation, you know, we just created a hub for people to find Black women content creators on Twitch, and increase the confidence of a lot of Black women to stream more, to create their own careers via streaming, and to even some women just to go on camera, where they were feeling so scared and so apprehensive about going on camera. So yeah, there's just a lot of things that we've done over the years, and we want to continue moving forward, essentially. You're silent.
You know what? I love when I'm talking to people like you, moving how you're moving. I love it. Let's get onto the capsule. You know, what was being a part of that like, and you know, talk about your involvement in it, because I didn't automatically see the segue. You've spoken about your base, so now I get it. But how does being involved in the capsule, and it's the Fnatic Champion collection, for those who are wondering what capsule, we'll put some pictures up in a second. Talk to me, how did you get involved in that?
So literally Fnatic reached out, and I thought it was a really great opportunity. One, because I'm aware of Fnatic from the esports side of things. They were literally just playing in Apex Legends tournament, which is like really popular, ALGS. But I've been aware of their brand, etc. And in terms of the capsule, it really resonates with me because I just love elements, and obviously there's fire, earth, water, and air in this, and that's really something that I love. I'm a huge fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is a great cartoon if you've never watched it. And it really spoke to me in terms of just being a part of that alongside my friend Shay Lingo, who I've known for a while and has really been quite pivotal in the Black community when he created the song Black Girl Magic. So working with him, working with Fnatic would be interesting. And also just to have a Black woman's face there. And I know I don't represent all Black women. I know how I look. I'm very aware of colorism. And I try my best to make sure that when these things happen, we can also follow up on it. So we're going to follow up with Fnatic in terms of working together in order to, you know, collaborate on making sure that we both can, as brands, increase the equity of Black women in the space. So that's why I wanted to join as well, is that collaborative aspect as well. The shoot was fun, super fun. I got to be Earth, so I got to be in Kew Gardens, and it was surrounded by plants, and it was just remind me of the Caribbean. Actually, I walked in and I smelled it, and I was like, it smells like home. It smells so amazing, and it was just a fun shoot, really and truly. Super happy to be a part of it, and to also see more diversity in collaborations when it comes to fashion and gaming, or just gaming capsules altogether. I think we need to see more Black women in that space. So it was really nice to be a part of that.
That was gonna be my next question. Fashion and gaming.
Yeah.
Outside of gaming, fans, I wouldn't have thought that was a thing. It's a thing though, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the number one person who's probably the biggest fan of fashion and gaming all in one. And that's something I've done. So in 2020, we partnered with a fellow friend of mine, Stephanie Joma, who runs Naked Saga, and we co-produced an event called Gamer Girls Night In that brings together gaming, beauty, and fashion all in one. And that was sponsored by Facebook. At the time, it was called Facebook. We had Palmer's, we had Makeup Revolution, PS4, EA, Hype, a bunch of brands that really wanted to kind of support this coming together of beauty, gaming, and fashion, because I think people try to juxtapose gaming against fashion or gaming against beauty when there's women and people in general who are interested in both. And I don't think we don't do that with any other hobby. You can't just be an actor and, oh, you like singing? That's weird. Like, that's why we're juxtaposing things. So I've always loved the two. I've always been into beauty and fashion. I've been in The Voice before for my other platform, Culture UK, which specifically focuses on hair and beauty. So I wanted to pull that together in an event, and we're actually doing the next one in August, which is supported by a number of sponsors that we're in final conversations with, including like Twitter, YouTube, Samsung. Gosh, they're not on the top of my list right now, but in terms of my head, but there's a bunch of brands that are supporting this, again, to bring gaming, fashion, and beauty together. And the first time we did it, we sold out within like an hour for the first bunch of tickets and 10 minutes for the second bunch of tickets. And there were about 200 people attending with 400 people on the wait list. So this is an area that has been desired by people, and no one's bothered to bring it together in an authentic way. And so, the experience is basically the kind of gaming event I wanted to go to, because I love the two. I love fashion and gaming, and I've always wanted to see a gaming event that was like that. But, a lot of gaming events don't venture into that area authentically, I think is the best way to say it. So, yeah, gaming and fashion and areas that are passions of mine. And I'm really happy to bring the event back again in August, and it's going to be awesome.
Just remind our viewers, listeners, what the name of the event is again.
Gamer Girls Night In.
You heard it here. Listen, I could talk to you forever, right, about a lot of stuff that goes in so many different directions, but I don't want to lose the focus of what we're here to speak on today. What I will ask, though, is The Voice is 40 years old next month. Yeah. We don't have a 40-year history of talking to people like yourself, but I want to create a 40-year future at the very least where we are. Talk about how that future looks from the seat that you sit in. And what seat is that, by the way, just so people know, if you're promoting it, by the way?
In terms of when you say
the seat you're sitting in now, literally. I know it looks like a gaming seat. Is that a gaming seat?
Yeah, it is a gaming seat. Yeah. I mean, I ain't gonna promote when they ain't pay me. But it is a gaming seat. Okay, cool. But in terms of 40 years' time, I would love to see more leaders that are Black in gaming. And I mean in terms of director level talent and above, because in these companies, you don't see much diversity, which also leads to a lot of the problems through either unconscious bias or very conscious bias, either way. So, and the thing is with gaming, 52% of gamers in the UK are women. And a lot of gamers in general, in terms of the percentage of up and coming gamers, are young Black teens. So it's a bit interesting as to why the industry is quite monolithic, especially in the UK, with I think it's over 80% being white men and very low percentages of other races in general. Even though the UK is a huge hub for some major gaming studios that disseminate their products all over the world. So In terms of the next 40 years, I'd like to see more Black and non-white age leadership in the companies. I'd like to see Black Girl Gamers grow in its scale and in its locations. I'd like to continue what we're doing in terms of our content, in terms of brokering Black women's opportunities and creating equity in the space. And I'd like to create industry shaking events, which I'm already doing, but I just want them to get bigger and better. So that's the next 40 years for Black Girl Gamers, and the next 40 years for gaming, just more stories, more leaders, and more representation and equity in the space for Black and non-white people. Excuse me.
Jay-Ann Lopez, it's been a real pleasure, speaking to you. Yeah, no, this was a good use of my day. Really happy that, the muggy weather didn't get you too fired up. I mean, you're fired up as it is.
Always, every day.
But no, really appreciate your time. And, for those who are wondering where they can grab a Fnatic capsule, I think it's sold out, isn't it? Is it still available?
It's still available.
Is it still available?
It's news to
Well,
me.
people listening, and if they're interested in the gamers, or even if you're not gamers, you might want to find out. Go and check that out as soon as you can, because I think it was going very, very well. As Jay-Ann is already spoken on, Shay Lingo is involved in this as well. We're hoping to get a word with him. I know he's a busy man. He's a young man. I've been following for over a decade now, so love his growth. Really, really love that artist there. So any support we can do to lend to him. Before we go, is there anything you want to share with our viewers, listeners, in terms of where they can find you, follow your journey, maybe join the movement?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me on social media, JAYANNLOPEZ_ on Twitter, Instagram. You can find Black Girl Gamers on Twitter, Black Girl Gamers, and on Instagram, it's The Black Girl Gamers. If you want to join, you can head to our website, which is www.theblackgirlgamers.com. You can be from anywhere. You just have to be a Black woman interested in gaming, and fulfill all the requirements to keep the space safe. And that's it. If you're interested in fashion and gaming and looking for a women-focused gaming event, Gamer Girls Night In will be coming back in August. You can find Gamer Girls Night In on Instagram at Gamer Girls Night In, or you can go to Twitter at ggni.events, and that will be in August.
I guess it'd be remiss of me not to ask you, because my son and my daughter, actually, they will be like, Daddy, but what game is she playing at the moment?
Okay. I'm currently playing Horizon Forbidden West, which is a sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. Really beautiful open world game. Couple problematic art issues, but other than that, it's dope.
All right, well, for those listening, watching, you heard it here first, and in a way you can support Jay-Ann and what she's doing, please do so. Thanks for your time once again. Thank you. Look forward to speaking to you again. All right.
Thank you.